the third year, that was what I heard from other friends and stuff like that the third year, if you make us a third year, good, you know. We got the books back. I'd lost a lot of money. Lost over 130k, I think it was, a washout. And I couldn't believe it because I was like, what the bro? I'm working 7 to 7. And I was doing everything. I was doing the invoicing. I was doing the sales. I was doing everything, man. And then wifey said to me at the time, well, she wasn't involved in the business for the first few years. She said to me, well, why don't you get some help? And I was like, well, I can do it. Why would I need help? Got an office lady. Holy the bed. Was the greatest move I ever made. So that was amazing. She worked alongside us and the company's grown since then. I pulled myself out of the hole with my wife's assistance because she jumped in without an overdraft, by the way. Hi, I'm Dan and I'm from He Built It. I've been in the construction industry for over 2 decades. This podcast isn't just for business owners, it's for all tradies that are carrying way too much on their own shoulders. It's for anyone coming into the industry so you know what you're in for. I used to think grinding till 11 o'clock at night was a tradie badge of honour. It nearly cost me everything: my health, my marriage and my first company. Here we talk about everything tradie, from the dumb shit we did as apprentices right through to the stuff that no one in construction wants to talk about. If you're ready to hear the truth and why we're in an aging industry and how to shift your mindset and actually get something out of the construction industry without losing yourself, then stick around. And if you're a leader in a construction company making your own way, we'd love to have you on our show.
My name's Harrison Strickland. I'm the founder of Revolution Studio, a market media company for property developers. We specialize in 3D renders, real estate media, and sales collateral for all types of builders and developers and people in the construction industry looking to sell more units. Yeah, you were my first ever client.
Did you frame the invoice?
I didn't frame the invoice. I'm sorry.
I told him
Sorry.
He could always get it from zero. I did tell
I probably
you.
could. I don't even think I had a proper invoice software back then. I probably just drew it up in like Google Docs or something.
Either way, you were paid on time. We did a great job. We've got a lot of recognition for those jobs you did for us.
How long ago was that now?
Fuck, bro, it must have been, could have been 16, 17, wasn't it?
Yeah, I started when I was 17, so I would have been 17, yeah. Far out.
5 years ago, bro.
So
Half a decade.
So take me back. When did this all start? When did you start UFC? When did, just take me through it.
Take it through from the start. Okay.
From the beginning.
I worked for a foundation company that got an opportunity to come down to Otatahi, Christchurch, to build foundations post-quake. At the time, I was on the tools. I came down for supposed to be 2 weeks. It ended up being 6 weeks. I had never really left the country, hadn't travelled much. I even bought baked beans and my fucking carry on because I wasn't sure if they had supermarkets down there. Subsequently, you did.
You brought baked beans?
Bought baked beans. My bag weighed heaps and wondering why I weighed so much, and I had baked beans and spaghetti.
Well, you didn't think that they had that in supermarkets down here?
Fucking South Islanders, yeah. Anyway, we came down here and then I worked for that foundation company previously, before we came here, I worked for 2 years, and then when we got here, business was booming. Shout out Slab Specialist, East Tamaki. And we started doing foundations. Subsequently, one a week turned into 3 a week. One crew turned into 3 crews pretty quickly. And then I won't take you through all the boring detail. It just proceeded and went and moved a lot more faster than I think they even expected. And then we got some great contracts through our sales rep, Carl Gribble, who spent a lot of time here selling. And anyway, one day we were hitting... I remember we were in Clearwater doing a foundation. Clearwater's quite a prestigious suburb in Christchurch. It's got a nice golf course here. Some of your golfers might have heard of it. And I remember the owner of my company that I was working for, the council pulled up, and one of my offsiders, or the workers I was working with, his tape stuffed out. And then the boss proceeded to grab a sledgehammer and literally beat the shit out of the tape while the council inspector's walking up. Oh. So the council inspector said, "Who's in charge?" And I just took it upon myself to say, "I am." Because, I mean, look at old mate, he's been doing this for 30 years and he's smashing a tape with a sledgehammer. But hey, and then I had a chat with him. We passed the floor, poured the floor. That was all tickety-boo. Fast forward I went back to Auckland, and then I decided that where I was at that time in my life, I wasn't really progressing much further. I love my homies from the West. I love what we were doing, but I needed a bit of a change. So I decided to take the move down here with my partner at the time. So we moved down and I kept working on the tools. And then eventually my boss said to me, "Well, what do you want to do? Do you want to hang the apron up or do you want to become a project manager? And I always kind of wanted to be a project manager. I was always a people person. I always liked people, always liaised with people well, from all walks of life. And it intrigued me a little bit, and the pay was a bit more. So I said, sweet, we'll have a crack. Anyway, then we started to do, I had support in Auckland, but I was here by myself as the sole project manager, I suppose, managing director, you want to call it, or whatever it was, face of the company down here. And then, we ended up turning over $800 to $1 million a month consecutively. We did that for several months, and I ran 16 guys on wages. That was 4 crews and a full-time stripping crew and 2 contract crews who got paid a meter rate. We did that through 2016 to about 2018 for a couple of years. And then in 2019, I met my now wife. Long story short, the work kind of didn't dry up. It just slowed down a bit. And then we had an opportunity. My wife and I came into a bit of money. That's a whole nother story, but our house burned down. To cut it plainly, we had an insurance claim for contents. They came back with a sum. It wasn't many times in my life at that age, especially for a lady I just met, with that kind of money. So she really pushed me into starting my own thing. I was hesitant. I was scared. I was optimistic. I was excited. Lots of feelings. I knew I was a people person. I knew I had great relationships based here through the company. And then I thought, well, just give it a go, So I went and bought a trailer. It was $16K. I went and bought all the boxing. And then I approached the clients who were previously working with slab specialists. They wanted to support me with my fearless leader, my boss's approval, I suppose. And then we went and did our first slab. Probably, I thought, I'll do 3 or 4 a month, make a wage, make a bit of fat. She's all tiggity-boo. That 3 or 4 a month, within 3 months, turned into the 3rd month, I think we did 8. At that point, when I was on the tools, I realized that this is not sustainable. I can't keep putting pegs in the ground and trying to get more work. So he became an independent contractor based on a square meter rate, and then I went out and sold some more. The company grew for about a year. The company went all right the first year. 2nd year went okay. I was working very hard that 2nd year. And then the 3rd year, that was what I heard from other friends and stuff like that, that the 3rd year, if you make past the 3rd year, you're good, We got the books back, and I'd lost a lot of money. Lost over 130K, I think it was, the washer. And I couldn't believe it, because I was like, what the bro? I'm working 7 to 7. I was doing everything. I was doing the invoicing. I was doing the sales. I was doing everything, man. And then wifey said to me at the time, well, she wasn't involved in the business for the first few years. She said to me, well, why don't you get some help? And I was like, well, I can do it. Why would I need help? Got an office lady. Holy the f***ing bed. Was the greatest move I ever made. So that was amazing. She worked alongside us, and the company's grown since then. I pulled myself out of the hole with my wife's assistance, because she jumped in without an overdraft, by the way. But we pulled ourselves out of that hole, and then we kept moving, and we are now, this is our 7th year in July. So it's 2019, 26, so 7th year in July.
Nice. What do you reckon was like the biggest, let's say, culture shock, I suppose, comparing going from a 9 to 5 being on the tools to actually running a business? So I can imagine it was quite there's so many things, that you don't think about until you're actually doing it.
Yeah, bro, like the culture shock, I suppose, is the realization of you don't work, you don't get paid. We were lucky in some way, because we did have a bit of money in the bank from that payout that we received. It wasn't a lot of money, but as you can imagine, for the first 7, because you get paid in the 20th the following, the first 7 weeks, you have to pay yourself a livable wage. And getting accounts, etc., to be able to put a lot of the things on credit, meaning that you get the product, put the product down, get paid for it, pay for the product. And like I said, luckily I knew some guys in the industry that would help me with that. Concrete was the most difficult, though, I found, as a culture shock, and getting good staff. I did have a good staff member, Jaden, who was amazing, who's led into an amazing role with another foundation crowd. And but we started off with $5,000 credit, bro, for concrete. There's about 7 or 8K that goes into a foundation. So we poured one and we had to pay it. Poured another one, had to pay it. Poured another one, had to pay it. Once again, I had some connections through the concrete industry and been down here for a few years beforehand, but at the same time, it still made it interesting. But you speak on culture. I've had wage guys. I haven't had wage guys. I've had contractors. I've gone back to wage guys. I've gone back to contractors. So I've moved it around a bit. But in the 7th year now, it's for the first time I can actually say that I'm very happy with the crew we've got. We've created a good culture of communication, openness, honesty, integrity, representation, training, learning, meaning that if a young fella comes through, I can train them, and I'm happy to put them through the apprenticeship and pay for it.
And say if you're say you're speaking to someone who's at the beginning of your journey, right? Like, and they're thinking about hiring their first, few employees and putting together a crew. What do you look for specifically?
I won't lie to you. This day and age, the 2000 babies, I call them, or the late 90s, they seem quite entitled.
Yeah.
I want. When we were apprentices, like, bro, I had to drive my car to work, drive my car home. That was part of the gig, mate. It is what it is, But when I hire anyone these days, I look for solely attitude. And if they've got kids and a mortgage, always good. No, but because they've got to fucking come to work. But
Yeah.
attitude's huge, like most things can be taught, but attitude cannot, like I've had great guys who I've had to let go because they're just not team players and they've got a shit attitude. It's hard because you're like, bro, this guy's got it. And yes, you try to assist them and you try to help them. I didn't so much years ago. I was kind of a little bit more cutthroat, but I have found some unicorns in the early 20s who aren't entitled. But also the culture and the environment is huge, but it's also as a leader how you set the bar, bro. So if I go to site and screaming and yelling at these because they've something up, then, you have a crew of guys that are, shit scared to kind of have a go and make a mistake. If I go there and he's done the same mistake 6 times, he'll get a bollock. But that doesn't mean that I don't scream and yell and abuse them. Like, in the end of the day, bro, staff is what makes your company. If you don't have good staff, then you're When you have contractors, it's different because the contractors they take care of their own staff. So, for example, if I pay a contractor a meter rate to do his job, he's taking care of his staff. If one of his guys is sick and he can't complete the task, that's not my problem. When you got wages guys, if one guy's sick and you can't complete the task, that's my problem.
Yeah, so where I'm at the moment, going from more contractors to actually putting together a team and trying to put together a bit of a culture, and it's easier said than done.
I think guys who want to go out on their own in foundations and building and plumbing or whatever, but if they've come from a good environment, I think they'll mirror that environment when they have their own business to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And they realize shit like, on the 22nd, I've built out $500,000 and I've been paid $100,000.
Yeah.
At the start of this, years ago, I'd panic, mate. I wouldn't sleep. I'd be panic stations, but then it would always get paid and and everyone would be sweet. Like, to this day, I know that it'll be fine, but culture is everything, man. I cannot speak enough about it, and attitude. But you set the bar as a leader, bro. That doesn't mean work 15 hours a day. You know what I mean, bro? Like, if one of my boys, like I say to them now, if you have a friend over from Australia and you got on the piss with him and you had a bender and it's a Sunday night, I'd rather you text me on Sunday night and say, bro, I got on the piss with this dude. Because you have a certain amount of guys on a floor, for example, to do that job. And if one doesn't come in, they're not just letting me down, letting the boys down.
Yeah.
So you have to set an example for that.
Communication's so important as well. So just being straight up and honest.
It's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
But like I said, guys that want to go on their own, if they come from an environment where that is seen as a good thing, like comms, and if they're taught well, if they come from an environment with, especially in foundations, if they've come from a contract crew that's just bang, 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 and all this dude is taught from the age of 18 to 22 is hit pegs in the ground.
Yeah.
And I've had some of my staff are like that now, and I've had them, and they don't get shut at a coffee. They don't get, you know what I mean? They get nothing, bro. We offer free mental health. I shout them a high. Those small things. I get in on a Saturday and strip floors with them, and they all give me shit because I'm slow and old. You know what I mean, bro? But it's like, it's about being seen as a leader, being heard as a leader, but also being fair and understanding that we all go through problems, bro. And culture is massive, man. Like if you've got 10 guys or 300, I feel.
Treat people how you want to be treated.
100%.
Yeah.
You know?
How, where would you sort of draw the line between, because obviously, you know, as a boss, you can be, you know, the fun boss that's always, you know, joking around and is sort of easy and breezy, but, you know, how do you draw the line between that, but also being disciplinarian enough to, you know, have people respect you and want to listen to you, if that makes sense?
On a Friday, after 2 beers, you go home. As much as that beer is going down like a treat for me, that's it. I don't share my personal problems with them for starters, but I don't share any financial queries. I don't share if they've made a mistake. In the back of my head, I know what it's cost me. I don't need to tell them that, whether it's $500 or $2,000. But also how you react. You know, like I said, a lot of these guys that are coming with me have worked for foundation companies previously, and not all were bad. I'm not bagging out any other company, but in the end of the day, we're human, bro. I make mistakes.
Yeah. And
you have to draw the line somewhat. Like, I don't think I'm above them. I'll go to a job and sweep the floors if I have to. I don't give a shit. Yeah, I mean, like, that's a big thing as well. But it's just your persona. If I went up to site with a brand new Ranger and my pointy clown shoes and a collared shirt, you know, bro, and just went in and said, "Hi, guys," and told them, "What are you doing? Why are you so slow?" What do you think that's going to do? If I rock up dressed like that with KFC, you know, at 2:00 on a Friday, it's just, yeah, man, that's how I do it.
I like that. Speaking to someone who is considering, you know, getting into branching out on their own and doing their own thing, I feel like, you know, from a lot of people's perspectives who haven't been in business before, you know, they think that, you know, they see their bosses going out buying jet skis and holiday homes and shit, and they think it's all, you know, sunshine and rainbows, and you're going to be raking in money the second you go out for yourself because you just take all the profit for yourself. How wrong is that assumption?
GST, tax man? Yeah, I mean, when you see I've seen it before, young fellas, and they go and pick up a brand new Ranger, and that's a great thing to try and progress or make themselves feel better or whatever, you know, like.
You got to treat yourself.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
But also comes back to that being present, I feel. Being present with the staff, and don't swing your big around, bro, like with a man, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
They don't need to know all of your business. But also, people think you make a lot of money. Yeah, you can make good money. You can lose money just as quick. And in the end of the day, people go, "Oh, one thing I hate, Harrison, is that, oh, you're lucky."
I get that.
I'm like, for the first 2 years of my business, I worked upstairs in my house with a desk to keep my to keep my overheads on a minimal. I'd come home from work and I'd sit up, then I'd do everything. My wife made the kids dinner, put them to bed, did everything. So she sacrificed that for me. And then when you look back at it, yes, when you start out, you have to do that shit. I don't give a what anyone says, bro. You have to hustle and grind, you know? You have to hustle, man. It's like, keep the overheads low, earn the money, put it away. You're going to get provisional tax. So people don't understand it. They go, I'm going to go and buy a brand new this and brand new that. What you get in your bank isn't yours. One lesson I learned as well, like, I always made a goal that I want to have 100K in my bank. 100 grand. I spoke to my business advisor and he says, "What's your goals, Dan?" This is the second year in, and I said, "I want 100 grand. He goes, "Okay, well, you have to have 133. It's like, "What do you mean?" "But you're going to get taxed 33%. Hey, 33 grand. So it's those kind of things and those learnings. But the thing is, Harrison, no one teaches you how to deal with money. No one teaches you how to deal with tax, ACC, GST, PAYE, holiday pay, sick days when you got wage guys.
No
one teaches you.
I mean, I think a lot of people, I've heard it a lot from my mates, you know, "Oh, just write it off, bro. Just write it off. It's a business expense." It's like, it's not free, mate. It still comes out.
You can write things off to a certain extent, but you know, like, you can't take the piss either, you know, like.
Yeah, people act like it, but people act like it's, you know, it's just free. You know, the business is paying for it, but it's still coming out of your bank account. You're still paying that money.
It's like, I've got at at the moment, I've got fuel cards that are all purchased from my supervisor, actually for all the staff who have a vehicle.
Mm.
And we just did that the last kind of month. And when Joyce, our office manager, said, should we get them all purchased? I said, yeah, 100%. Oh, how do we police that? The way we police that is trust, bro. I tell them. You can go buy a pie, you can go buy a coffee. Just don't buy your groceries on it, bro. You know what I mean? Like, it's all good to buy the boys a pie and a coffee occasionally, 100%.
Yeah.
But yeah. But for guys that think they're going to make heaps of money, just rethink it a little bit, but hustle hard. Hustle hard. Like I'd go out for dinner, bro, with my missus, and if I seen a builder's truck, I'll walk up to him and ask him who does his foundation.
Yeah.
Always hustling, bro.
I used to walk around the like Farringdon and Rolleston, where all these new houses are going up. I used to go into the show homes and like hit up all the sales reps, and they're like, "Hey, can I take free photos for you?" You know.
But I respect that.
You have to do it. At
I
the beginning.
respect that shit.
And I'd argue a lot of people get comfortable, you know, once they get some traction going, once they start, you know, getting consistent work, and they sort of take their foot off the gas with the hustling. And it's like,
It's a constant hustle.
yeah, I feel like you constantly need to be like looking for opportunities to ask someone for work.
The boys go, we're busy this month, and all I'm thinking is next month.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going, fill it up, you know?
No, for sure. What was your biggest oh shit moment? You know, because, you know, every business owner has one of those oh shit moments where...
When I lost that money.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, because it was like, I thought I was doing everything right, bro. I was working, and you can't understand why you're not making any money. And there's several reasons for that. There was no back costings. I had an accountant, great. You go to see an accountant once a month, she tells you you're doing good, you're not doing good. There's no business advice. There's no somewhat mentorship in that way. Yes, I did ring my previous employer. He was pretty GC, but he's got his own business to run, you know, like, so you that was a huge oh shit moment for me. And when I made mistakes, you know, when I made ups, made a couple of good ones, I was like, at the start, I was like, that job you filmed, that black one.
Yeah, it's the one with the black.
Preston's, the black concrete at $340 a cubic meter, and I over ordered by 6 cube. And that Shane was Marty's pump, shout out. He was pumping the last, and he said, we've only got a little bit left here, big boy. And I was like, yeah, sweet as. And then I seen the truck pull up. I was like, because you got 6 on the road. Me, bro. That's $2,500 worth of concrete sitting on the road when I can't put it anywhere.
What'd you do to fix it?
Sucked back a vape in about 10 seconds. Yeah, that was early on. That was when I would overthink it and worry and be panicked. And luckily enough, the rep came from Allied Concrete. He seen the stress in me, and he looked after me to the best he could. But obviously, you paid for the mud. You've ordered the mud. It is what it is. It's your mud. So frantically, I'm ringing up people. Do you want post holes poured? Do you want trying to get rid of it? Just try and on sell it. And no one wanted it, so I had to go back and get tips. So I came back that night. I remember I came back and I looked at my back costings upstairs in my little cave, and I was like, F-. Obviously I had margin on the bottom. I think it was like $4,000 margin lever. And then you just go, you know? But it does suck, bro. But then, you know, I've been a builder for 20 years, bro. Just a month ago, I marked 4 poles in the wrong place. That cost me $4,000 myself, you know what I mean? So it doesn't happen often, but when it does happen, but the way I reacted now, the way I reacted, a month ago compared to the way I reacted 2.5 years ago is totally different.
Oh, for sure. Personal accountability is probably one of the biggest things I've learned. You know,
you have to have it. You have to have it.
Everything is your fault. And people, you say that to some people and they get defensive, you know, oh, it's not my fault, you know. But the second you take personal accountability for literally everything that goes wrong in your business and your life and your, you know, personal health, whatever, you know, that's when it becomes freeing because you can do something about it.
Correct. So what you do is you look at the system. How did it happen? See, I didn't know systems before that, bro. The systems were here. All the systems for that business, how to run it, how to pour, I knew it was all here. I couldn't pass that on to anyone because I had no systems in place. This was years ago. I had no systems in place to do it. Bro, I quoted jobs in a pen and paper and a calculator. You know what I mean? That's how I did it. No shit. And, you know, like now I look at, yes, I made a mistake on the piles. I was like, I went to the job the subby said, oh, the poles are out. And I was like, fuck, no, they're not. I looked at the set out. I had a look at it. I was like, as soon as I looked at it, bro, I knew what I did. I just knew. So I went there in the morning, I thought to myself, is it gonna be a fuck up, Dan? And the guy who was doing it for me is a good builder, so he would have known. I looked, I was like, it rung up me, mate. He had to redig them and shit, And one of the foremen rung me up and he goes, are you all good? And I was like, yeah, I'm all good. Oh, that was a bit of a fuck up, eh? And I said, oh, well, no good, mate. What happens, happens. He had to go, got a phone call. About an hour later, he rang me back and I said, hello, Ultimate Piles here. How can I help? You got to laugh at yourself, bro.
Ultimate Piles.
You've just, not piles, those piles on the ground, but at the same time, like, a fuck up's a fuck up. And if you're not accountable, but then what there was a system that did I not tick off a box? Did I not do something that I should have done? And in hindsight, I probably sped it up a bit quick and should have taken my time a bit more. On the other hand, it was pure human error, and that happens, But admitting it and putting it on social media and being honest about it and open about it, because everyone fucks up, bro, and you're gonna.
Yeah.
With concrete, bro, you one show up.
Yeah.
She's hard as fuck, boy. If you got a big concrete saw. But yeah.
You mentioned specifically in the intro that, working so hard and all that had negative impacts on your health. What happened?
Well, what didn't happen?
Thankfully, you're still here.
Thankfully, I'm still here, yeah. Your mental health is a funny one when you own your own business. It's a really funny one, bro. Because you want to perform, you want to do your best for all of your clients. You really want to show them you can do it. And it's not like proving it to anyone. It's not saying, I'm the best foundation contractor in Otatahi, or, I can do the best floor or whatever. But you want to do good, and then you start to see some margin coming in and you're like, sweet. And the tax man comes, that goes, Things like that are disheartening.
Seasonal.
But I didn't get into a state of depression somewhat, but my health, I was eating bad. I wasn't stopping. I was never stopping, bro. Like it was, I'd lie on the couch with my kids. They're trying to jump on me after thing, and I'm looking at my email. You know what I mean, bro? Like it's like
pretty much where I'm at the moment.
Yeah, the children, right? But I mean, like when you see a 2-year-old run up to you and all she wants is your attention and love, and you're just go, hang on, darling. Yeah. You're trying to look at a concrete quantity or a quote, or it's like what the fuck. So then I started to think a little bit about my, where I was in my life and what I wanted when I was nearly close to 40, and my wife was doing amazing at raising their children and getting them to school, and and I wanted to be able to get them to school and do things with them. And I was 146 kilos at my fucking heaviest. I wasn't swinging a hammer anymore, bro.
All right,
when I was eating pies, I was swinging a hammer and I was all good, bro. But when you stop swinging a hammer, you're in the office and you're just drinking V's and eating pies, and you're not physical. And people say, make time for the gym. I couldn't have time, but I was just constantly on the hustle. So I reflected on that and I dealt with that, and now I'm down to 110 and I'm going to stay there. It's watching what you're eating and how you're eating. But my mental health, I went and spoke to a counsellor a year ago, and that was pretty buzzy, bro. Because I was brought up in a loving, beautiful house in West Auckland. My parents have been married 40 years. There's no dramas there. There wasn't abuse or alcoholism or anything like that a lot of people have dealt with in their lives. I was an addict for several years on some substances. I had my best friend taken from me 10 years ago. I never really spoke to anyone about that. So there's some traumas there, and then going to a counsellor was real trippy, because going back to the traumas and you're like, I'm sweet. I've beaten that drug like that. But before I lost the weight, I was into my head like, how the stop doing drugs, cold turkey, why the can I stop eating shit? So I was battling with that, and then, with the counsellor, it just made me really open up to understanding myself, what I need as a person, what my family needs from me. But most of all, loving yourself again and being proud of yourself. Because if you're not fucking proud of yourself, bro, then, a lot of guys do it for the family. I do it for the kids. I do it for go for a run so you can be there for your kids, bro. Stop getting on benders every weekend, cuz you nearly,
Yeah.
So, not that I did, but, what it unpacked for me, I'd never really been to counselling at all. And what it unpacked for me was a huge, not so much trauma, but little bits of trauma, but things that I've gone through in my life that I didn't think affected me, but actually did. So it really opened my eyes to that. And I see my counsellor once a month now. Highly recommend counsellors, especially if you find a good one. Who you find a good one?
I mean, you know what I've been through.
Yeah, your story is pretty rough too, man. And it's like, what it does is you can unpack things, and when the penny drops, you're like, oh shit, light bulb moment, you know? So that was, and then funnily enough, in the last 8-9 months since we've got this crew, the business has projected into such a positive way. Yeah, we've lost some money, made some money, etc. But I think when you dive deeper into yourself and you go, fix yourself or change yourself, but understand why I feel that way. Why am I acting that way? Why do I not get angry at my staff and come home and be a to my wife? Why? Yeah. Not to the point she's like, I'm going to leave your ass, but she's an amazing lady. But it's like, it's not fair, right? So what's going on up here that's,
with mental health in business and stuff, I personally, and I'm assuming you've had the same thing, imposter syndrome was a massive, massive thing for me. Like, it feels like, to anyone who doesn't understand what imposter syndrome is, it's essentially like not but the strong almost disbelief in yourself, even though you've already achieved the things that you're setting out to do. Like, it doesn't matter how much money or how successful the business gets, every time you have a win, there's this nagging like thing in the back of your head saying you don't deserve it, or that you're kind of
you're not worthy of it. Like, and I remember, like, before I went to see him, bro, like, my wife was like, I'm proud of you. And a lot of people say that to their friends. It's true. It's Mental Health Month, actually.
It is.
But not not a lot of people say it to their guy mates, and it's like, why don't I say I'm proud of you? Or why don't I say that, you're doing amazing and shit? And it's weird because as you grow in your life, like, I've got bros that I love dearly who have all gone different directions in life. So like business owners, some have gone another path, some have whatever path they've chosen, and I still love them all the same. But you never express it, you never tell them, and we don't as blokes, And it's like, and that was the imposter as well. Like, funny you touch on that, because that was me. It's not that you're not worthy of it. It's just like, it's hard to give yourself gratitude as a bloke.
Oh yeah,
but you do. Like, I lost the weight, bro, and I was like, I'm still worried about this. Like, it used to be out here, bro. I can see my in the shower now. It's way bigger.
Has to be hard, but
huge. But no, you know what I mean? Like, it's like you don't you learn mirror work, and you learn, like, and people go, what do you talk to yourself for? That's one of my, that's my counsellor said to me, talk to yourself. I'm like I used to do that after I've been awake for 4 days. But like, you tell yourself you're doing good, Tell yourself in the morning after you jump out of the shower, look in the mirror and say, have a good day today. And that little small sentence can impact the way you feel the rest of your day, Amazingly, bro. But imposter syndrome is huge, man. And I reckon in blokes, it's really, doesn't mean there's some deep-seated trauma. I'm no counsellor, but it means that there's something there that, has happened in your life. And when I spoke to the counsellor about that, he's like, bro, it could have been something as simple as when you're 3 years old, your mum walked off and walked out to get the mail, and you were sitting there crying, and you obviously don't remember it, and you felt abandoned. I'm like, fuck off. He's like, no,
really?
Something as small as that. Yeah. See, then you have abandonment issues. So then you get a missus at 20, you with her, she's a total nut bar, and you want her back all the time because you've got abandonment issues. But blokes are like, I don't know, she's just crazy. Where is she? So yeah, mental health's huge, bro. Like, especially being a business owner, because
shout out Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Doesn't get talked about enough.
No, it doesn't, bro. And then as I'm 41 next in a few weeks. Actually, I'm 41 years old, and like I said, the first counsellor I ever spoke to was a year ago, bro. And I lost my best mate in a horrible traumatic experience that I wasn't there, but I lost him 10 years ago. God bless his soul, Conor Morris. I love you, brother. But that kind of really opened my eyes and made me kind of understand things a little bit more. But then it was never spoken on. You grieve and you just hang around the people and then you grieve, but you don't You know, like, and some of the things he said to me when he was here was just like, yeah, he made me really, he was always happy for me. He was always inspiring and always just a good man, bro, you know?
Mm.
When you lose someone like, you're like, you know, it's hard.
Yeah, definitely not easy. I mean, for those that don't know, I lost my father just a couple of years ago. And, you know, losing someone very significant in your life.
R.I.P. Rob Strickland's a good man.
He's a good man. You did our family house foundation, didn't you? Yeah. But yeah, it can really
Drew me down the prize.
Yeah, it sounds like my old man.
But come on, Rob, mate. Hell. I said, I gave your son his first voice. No, he's a good man, Rob. Have you gone to see anyone after his passing or anything?
No, I've kind of, because I had to take over his business when he passed away, and I kind of just, my way of dealing with it was just work. I just purely just lock yourself in a room and just make it work, you know, because. And I think a lot of my imposter syndrome comes from that, because I feel like I'm almost trying to live up to his legacy. And, you know, when I first started...
You already are, though.
Hey?
You already are.
Oh, stop.
No, you are. Because in the end of the day, bro, look what you're doing. And look at the goals you're achieving.
Yeah, stop it. We're not going to make me cry on this.
No. But in the end of the day, like, it doesn't just go away, brother.
Mm.
You know? One day you're not going to wake up and go, cool, gone now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Talking about it is a great tool, I feel. I was exactly the same. Oh, you know? Obviously it wasn't my father. It's a little bit different. But at the same time, like, it's huge, bro. It's huge, you know?
Yeah, I think for me it was just, I kind of looked at it, and I'm a bit of a, I'm very self-aware. Like I kind of, if something's happening to me, I'll look at it almost from a 3D perspective, and I'm like, all right, I'm grieving. My dad's just died. It's horrible. I feel like shit. All right, I can do one of two things. I can cry, and I can, you know, make myself all depressed and go binge drink or do drugs, or you know, however some people deal.
Everyone deals with grief differently.
Yeah,
everyone does.
Or I can pull my belt up, you know, build the business and better myself, you know, better myself in the gym, and take my grief or anger or sadness out in that sort of a way. And
that doesn't mean there'd be no moments when you don't just go, you're driving one time and you hear a song or something.
Oh,
go,
yeah. Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with pulling over and just blowing your eyes out.
Bro, on the way here, straight up.
Yeah.
Had a song that was talking about father and son. I had a little tear up.
That's fine.
But it's just, yeah.
Yeah. And that'll, you know, like, and the way I see grief as well, bro, it's like, it's a wound that will never heal. It'll get stitched up, but it'll always be there, you know. You just learn to live with it, learn to carry it with you, and feel honored that you've shared that person's journey in that life, you know. Because you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Robbie boy.
Yeah.
Let's be fair, you wouldn't. Oh, and your mother. Takes two to tango.
Yeah.
To me,
100%.
yeah.
Love my mum.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's also good to, you're right, you can deal with it through other things, but that's why I love the way the Māori bury their dead, because they honor them and they sleep with them and they stay there for a few days and they grieve and they discuss things, and you know what I mean? Like, I've always liked that, rather than just like the old Europeans just chuck them in the furnace and you know what I mean? I'm like, well, that's all good if that's the bars, but I'd like to slowly grieve through it, cry, be happy, cry, be happy, cry, you know what I mean? Like, have your beers, don't have your beers, whatever your fucking buzz is, you know? But yeah, you can't repress it though. You can't repress it.
I think overworking as well, it can be just as harmful as
blokes just repress it. Blokes just repress it. They just don't want to.
Like, I'm sure it'll come out at some point, you know.
Well, it's like it slowly creeps down. Yeah. But it's also good to, you know, openly discuss it. You know, be honest with your feelings. 100%.
All right. What does a week look like for you now compared to, say, at the beginning of your business journey?
A week look like now compared to 6 years ago?
Oh, like, what's your sort of day-to-day like?
Well, at the moment we're in a real good transition period. We've got, it's good and it's bad for me, to be fair, because I'm trying to replace myself within the business and exit all the crap in my head down onto paper and getting other guys, employees, to do it. But a week looks the same in some ways. I'm still up early. I still thoroughly enjoy engagement with my clients. For the last 6 months, I haven't had as much as I would have liked, mainly because, fuck, we've got smashed this year. 2026 is absolutely smashed, like meaning there's lots of work going on. There is lots of changes, but through the counseling I've done and through the experience that I've had, I tend to deal with it a whole lot different. I do have my moments, but, you know, like I said before, my wife's a lot more involved in the business than she was years ago, so it didn't always fall on my shoulders. She's the king of delegating, though. She delegates everything to me. ADHD tells me to do one thing and then tells me 2 weeks later, I told you. I'm like, did you? Did you put a meeting request in?
I think that might just be women in general, mate.
100%. You remember to pick up the milk I told you a week ago? But no, in all seriousness, the weeks, to be fair, I'm not doing the 70 hours. I'm not doing all the invoicing. I'm not doing a lot more. I'm doing a lot less than I was when we started. And obviously with growth comes monetary things, because that's really what kind of put me off, was having employees. Was like, I don't want to pay them to do it. Why pay them to do it when I can do
it? Yeah.
Dan Martell, Buy Back Your Time. If you haven't listened to that podcast or read that book, great, can listen to it.
Great book.
He's the man. He's the man.
Shout out Dan Martell.
Shout out Dan Martell. If you ever see this, my bro, holla at your boy.
He was trying to sell me on his AI bootcamp thing.
He's on. He's on. But anyway, that was a reason that I listened to it when we went away to Kaiteri. I was driving back by myself, which I quite enjoyed, without children or the wife in the back, which is always enjoyable when you have a very neurodiverse family, when you can just drive by yourself and listen to. And I listened to Dan Martell most of the way. And buying back your time is huge, because in the end of the day, when you don't involve yourself in as much in the business, when you can delegate to other people who can do your role, it's a great feeling. There'll always be somewhat of you that goes, I could do it different. But what that podcast did teach me was, if you can employ someone and they can do it 75, 80, 70% to your caliber, that means you've got your time back, you know? And then you can work on the business and grow the business, which my wife's been doing exponentially. There is still a side of me that I'm a people person. I like to go sell. I like to go see my clients. I like to do things, but then I get immersed in the everyday.
It's easy to get mixed in with busy work, being busy but not productive.
Well, you're back in, bro. And it's like, I look at things, I'm like, I could do that so much better. But when and then I can have afternoon naps. I have a nap with my cat, bro. You know?
Are we not joking? Like, he actually does.
I get weekday afternoon pussy.
My man.
It's from a Maine Coon. The only wetness I get is licked on my face, but it's an afternoon nap nevertheless. And you know, the boys joke, they're like, "Oh, you're having a nap again." I'm like, you can't understand this shit in my head. And I think in the last kind of few months, to be honest with you, what's my brain doing is my brain's probably calming down a bit, you know, and it's going, you can chill because you're not having to go. Because I've gone to stress courses, I've gone to all types of things. Dave Wood, that was a mean one. Dan Van Come Under Pressure. There's lots of stress courses that I went to, and I learned a lot of things from them. But when you run in a highly stressful, fast-paced environment that can change, you can sit there and plan all day, bro, and then the next day it just changes. Concrete waits for no man, bro. It waits for no man. So it becomes you almost become addicted to the stress. You almost become addicted to the hit of, the phone will ring, bang, bang, bang. You hang it up, you'll start another email, then bang, it'll ring again. So
I love stress, eh?
Yeah. Some people like it and some people hate it, you know?
People say stress
is good for you, though.
Yeah, stress, like, so people say it's bad for you, you know, raises your cortisol, rah-de-rah.
So it's meth, bro. People still do it, you know? Fuck.
End of the day, it's how you think about stress. When I'm stressed, I know that shit's happening, you know? So I know that I'm doing something.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of stress is okay, you know, but you can't live in the high cortisol all day. And what happened was, when you're running a business and, you know, when you work for someone, it's different. You work for someone, you go home, bro. Yes, people who work for people go, I'm stressed. I'm like, oh, really, are you? What time do you go home, bro? 5 o'clock? Oh, cool. I go home at 5 o'clock and I think, have they that up? You're right.
Fuck me.
You're right with that beer, isn't it?
Yeah. Nah, I'll be all right. Thank you.
He said he's only 21. He's just fucking
22, 23 next month.
cunt. But yeah, in the end of the day, yeah, people that employ, like, you know, don't get me wrong, project managers get stressed 100%, bro. Like, it off they do. But it's a different kind of stress when you have your own business. But when you can deal with it and handle it and understand it and switch the off, which takes years, to be fair, takes years. Like, I used to sit there on the couch and still read emails, you know, and I see an email come through now. I'm like, yeah, I'll deal with it tomorrow. I was up with my family 3 days this week. My uncle passed away.
Sorry to hear.
Yeah. God bless Malcolm Pickering, Helensville.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, big dog. You're a mean open side flanker, mate, for the Helensville RFCU. Anyway, when I had 3 days off, and the guys who we've employed to take my position, I suppose, they did a great job. There were some things that I got called about and things I didn't get called about, but it's the way you react to them, and when it only takes experience, I feel, and the right type of person. You know, some people panic station, but.
Say you're speaking now to the 25-year-old chippy who's sick of working 9 to 5 and wants to branch out and do their own thing. What would you recommend they do in the next 30 days?
Get ready for 40 nowadays. 25-year-old chippy who wants to have a crack, go for it, bro. Go for it. Life's too short to around. You know, in the end of the day, like, if you're good at your craft and you've been taught well and you've come from a good culture of putting people over profit, go for it, mate.
Most people that are starting out, especially in the trades and that sort of 25, like I've got people that have mates and stuff and family that have come to me. They're in the trades and they're a professional builder and they want to do their own thing, but they genuinely have no idea sort of where to start. Because I mean, you know, their whole life since, you know, I was 16, it's been, you know, going to a work site, clocking in and clocking out. So it's like, where would you recommend they start when it comes to building or starting their own business?
Like and subscribe to He Built It. No, that's the problem. That's the problem, brother. There is nowhere and no one to tell you. The only way you learn is to ask people who are older than you or a mentor. Yes, there's courses. Yes, there's lots of things to do, right? They want to money grab you, bro, and slowly get you there. I feel the way you learn is experience, understanding your niche market, and having a crack, you know, and realizing that you could lose money in a job. Whipped shit, life goes on, bro. Not every job you'll win. But subscribe to He Built It. Hit like and subscribe. No, I mean, this is why we're doing this, bro, so we can discuss with people, because there's no course. In school, bro, they don't teach you profit and loss. They don't teach you tax. They don't teach you GST. They don't teach you and the biggest thing is how to deal with people.
They teach you to be a worker.
100%. But also give it a go. But yeah, the only way you learn, man, is one, your mistakes. But two, strive to be better every day. And three, you know, have a good network around you. Doesn't mean go and hang around with millionaires straight away, you know. Well, you can if you fucking want, but I mean, like, hang around with like-minded people. Like, if old mate's sitting there smoking a bong in his flat at 42, old mate's still going to be there at 50, right?
Yeah.
If you're got another guy, a mate who's a tiler or whatever, and he wants to have a crack, then, you know, have a go, man. But it's not all it's cracked up to be honest. Some people don't want to do it. Some of my staff members would not want to deal with the shit I deal with. And I didn't think I wanted to deal with it either, to be honest.
Sort of what I was saying at the beginning. It's like people think, you know, start your own business, you're going to be buying jet skis and holiday homes.
The grass ain't always greener, bro.
Yeah.
It's just a bit more grass, you know?
Yeah.
If you know what I'm saying. But, yeah, at the same time, like, yeah, there is, it takes a certain person. It's not everyone's suited for it. It takes a hustle mentality, always on the hustle, and an entrepreneur in some ways. I don't feel like I am an entrepreneur. I'm a hustler. Like, doesn't mean I'm going to rip you off or rob you. It means I'm always looking for an opportunity to create a relationship, to create mahi, to expand the business.
At the end of the day, you're adding value to your customers and stuff. Like people see like salesmen and stuff as, leeches or just looking for the next paycheck. But in reality, if you're a real good salesman, then your offer will give them value,
People will buy something off you if they trust you.
Yeah, my best mate wants to start a business. He's been sort of in the 9 to 5 thing ever since he left high school. And one thing he said to me the other day was that he's terrified of messing it up and making mistakes. I think that is probably the most important thing, is realizing that you will make mistakes and it's completely normal. And if you started a business and you made 0 mistakes, I don't care how experienced you are, something's gone wrong, like you're going to make mistakes, and it's all
It's
a
not
part
if
of,
it's when.
yeah, exactly. And it's all a part of how you deal with them, how you, bounce back pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, Richard Branson couldn't read or write. He's illiterate.
Exactly. He's
He lives in a island, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he's smart. It's about how, mistakes will hold you back. But like I said before, when we were discussing mistakes and errors, and chippies have been 30 years, chippies still make mistakes, and concrete is whatever. But it's ownership, and it's also understanding how you got to that point. If there was a system in place and a process in place, and you still f***ed it up, well then you're a muppet. You f***ed it up. But if there was a system in place and you didn't follow the system and you didn't follow the protocol, then you go back to the start. What did we do here? Did I skip that? Yes, I did. Well, you probably wouldn't have done that if you did that.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Yeah. You make a mistake, you learn from it, and then you know how to better deal with it the next time it happens.
Money's money, bruv. Honestly, bro, like I said, when those trucks drove away from that black concrete, and I could see $2.5-3 grand driving off, I smashed that vape like it was I don't know, bro. I was blowing clouds. The wife couldn't even see me, bro. I was puffing up. But that was years ago, right? Now, when I made that other one, I addressed it. I looked at it. How can I change it? Did I do something wrong? Yes, I did. I had a meal. Yes, you will make mistakes, and don't be scared, bro. Who cares? If you live at home with your parents and you want to start a business, do it when you live at home with your parents.
What is genuinely the worst? It's something that my business coach has been talking about quite a lot. Like, what is the worst case scenario for doing something? You start a business, you might get a lease on a car that is a bit expensive, or you might just make a risky life decision. What is the worst case that's going to happen? I mean, most people have family, parents or grandparents, or a mate that they can crash on the couch.
But yeah.
Or like a mate that can crash on the couch or whatever. You're not really very rarely you're going to become homeless.
But it's how you bounce back from that, bro. It's how you react to that mistake. It's how you go, like you said before, you're going to sit there and close the blinds and do drugs and drink piss and be an idiot. But what did I do wrong? How did I do it wrong?
How can I improve?
Correct. Perseverance, man, is everything. Perseverance, and just keep grinding, bro. Just keep at it, man, and you'll get it. And mindset's huge. Like if you wake up in the morning after a up, like I remember I did it when I made that up, and I looked in the mirror, I had a shower, the kids are yelling, Kristen's trying to get ready for school and whatever, and I'm like, Dan, up. You're going to go there, you're going to see a up. It's going to cost you a few grand. Such is life. And you listen, and you hear your kids laughing and screaming and yelling, and you hear your wife going, get away from school. And that's all that matters. You know what I mean? Maybe not her screaming with them, but like that's really all that matters,
Yeah. I like that.